You wake up one random Tuesday, you check your bank app, and for a split second, you try not to look at the retirement account because in the back of your mind there's this quiet thought, am I actually okay? Not rich, not retiring at 50, just okay. And if that feeling sounds familiar, like a low-grade financial anxiety you've learned to live with, then yeah, this video is for you. Because today we're talking about something nobody really wants to look at. What the average person actually has at retirement, not what Instagram says, not what finance gurus imply, not what your coworker pretends, the real numbers, and they might surprise you. My name is Nico, and I spend way too much time thinking about retirement math and human behavior. If you're someone who makes decent money, tries to save, but secretly wonders if it's enough, hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Alright, here's the thing. Most people assume that by retirement age, say 65, the average person has $1 million saved. That's the cultural assumption now. $1 million feels like the baseline. Now look, according to the Federal Reserve's Survey of Consumer Finances, the median retirement savings for Americans aged 65 to 74 is around $200,000, not the average. The median, which means half of retirees have less than that. Let that sit for a second. $200,000. Now yes, the average number is higher, closer to $400,000, but that's because a small percentage of very wealthy households skew the number up. Median tells the real story. So let's run the math. If someone retires with $200,000 and follows the classic 4% rule, which is already debated, that means they can withdraw about $8,000 per year from investments. $8,000? That's about $667 per month. That's not a retirement plan. That's a grocery bill. Now you might be thinking, okay, but they have Social Security. Yes, the average Social Security benefit in 2025 is roughly $1,900 per month. So combine that with $667 from savings, and you're looking at around $2,567 per month total income before taxes. That's the reality for a huge portion of retirees. This is where it gets interesting, because the problem isn't just math. It's psychology. Here's what most people don't realize. Retirement doesn't fail because people are stupid. It fails because humans are wired for short-term survival, not 40-year financial planning. When you're 30, retirement feels abstract. When you're 40, it feels far. When you're 50, it feels uncomfortable. When you're 60, it feels urgent, and urgency is expensive. The Federal Reserve has also reported that nearly 1 in 3 adults have no retirement savings at all. None. Zero. So how does this happen? It's not usually reckless spending, it's not yachts and luxury watches, it's lifestyle creep, it's upgrading the apartment, then the car, then the school district, then the vacations. It's telling yourself, I'll invest more next year, and next year becomes a decade. Let me show you something simple. If you invest $500 per month starting at age 25 and earn 8% annually, by 65 you'd have roughly $1.7 million. Not magic, just math. But if you wait until 35 to start, that drops to about $760,000. Same monthly amount, 10-year delay, nearly $1 million difference. Compounding isn't just powerful, it's unforgiving. And this is where most people mentally check out, because they think, well, I didn't start at 25, so I'm behind. Here's the part nobody talks about. Even people who started late can dramatically change their outcome. If you're 40 and you invest $1,000 per month at 8% until 65, that's roughly $950,000. Add Social Security and suddenly retirement looks very different from the $200,000 median. But here's the psychological trap. People don't increase contributions because they anchor to their current lifestyle. They fear the discomfort of cutting back today more than they fear being broke at 75. Future pain feels theoretical. Present discomfort feels real. So we choose comfort and then we hope. Hope is not a strategy. Now look, I'm not saying everyone should be aiming for $5 million. What I am saying is this: the average outcome happens by default. If you don't design your retirement, you inherit the median. And the median, as we just saw, is not comfortable. So what do you actually do? First, calculate your real number, not a random $1 million guess. Take your expected annual expenses in retirement, multiply by 25. That's the rough 4% rule target. If you want $60,000 per year in retirement income from investments, you need around $1.5 million invested. Now subtract expected Social Security. That tells you how much your portfolio actually needs to cover. Second, automate aggressively. Most people don't fail because they can't save. They fail because they rely on willpower. Automatic 401k increases, automatic IRA contributions, Automatic brokerage investing make future you unavoidable. Third, increase savings with income increases. When you get a raise, at least half of it should go toward investing before your lifestyle even adjusts. That single habit compounds more than almost anything else. And finally, zoom out. Retirement isn't about sitting on a beach doing nothing. It's about optionality. It's about not being 72 and forced to work because the numbers don't work. Here's the surprising part. The average person at retirement doesn't have much, but the average person also didn't consistently invest early, didn't increase contributions with income, and didn't design a plan. That means you don't need to be extraordinary to beat the average. You just need to be intentional. Consistency beats brilliance. Automation beats motivation. Time beats intensity. If you're watching this and feeling slightly uncomfortable, good. That discomfort is awareness, and awareness applied correctly turns into action. You don't need perfection. You don't need genius. You don't need a crypto miracle. You need a plan. You need consistency, and you need to start before you feel ready, because the difference between $200,000 and $1.5 million isn't luck. It's decades of small, boring decisions, and boring decisions, built correctly, create extraordinary freedom. I'll see you in the next one.